where Miss Marple sits. Yeah. Now. Okay, but don't take a picture until the whole cast is sitting around. Miss Marple's going to come talk for a couple minutes.
Well, hello, my dears. Hello. So nice to see you. Welcome to my little cottage. Oh, there are so many dear old friends. Lucy, darling, how are your beautiful chrysanthemums? Good to hear. Griselda. You're Griselda as well? You must tell the vicar how much I enjoyed his sermon on Sunday.
I will definitely do that.
Oh, good. Dolly, I do hope the Colonel has recovered from his cough.
He has.
Good, because it's such a terrible thing to be stricken with a cough.
Yes, he has. Yes.
My dear friends, I'm sure all of you would like to say hello to me, but since there are so many of you, why don't we take care of it all together? I shall count to 3, and on the count of 3, you shall shout out all at once, well, hello, my dear. My, oh my, don't you look lovely today? Are you ready?
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, hello, my dear. My, oh, my. Don't you look lovely today?
Do you really think so? Why, thank you. Down to business, shall we? As all of you know, just 6 months ago, on August the 7th, 1957, our dear little village of St. Mary Mead was woefully beset by murder. Yes. And a horrible murder it was. Will people never change? Here we are in these modern times, and the human animal is just as cruel and savage as it ever was. Well, my friends, I'm delighted to announce that at last the murder has been solved. And as is sometimes the case, your dear little friend, Miss Jane Marple, had some slight opportunity of assisting in the investigation. And having all the information now that I did not have at the time, I'm ready to tell the story. Would you like to hear it?
Yes.
Good. Then sit back and pour yourself a cup of tea, for I find nothing goes quite so well with murder as a nice cup of tea. So where shall we begin? Of course, it was late in the night, and scattered here and there throughout the village were all of our story's most important characters. My friends, can you guess just which 2 of these folks were meeting in secret that night? You can say what they're wearing, point.
Pink sweater.
Pink sweater and orange shirt. My friends, can you guess where they were meeting? At the local coffee shop, I believe you mean.
No, she meant the pub.
Gloria,
Alfred!
so nice of you to join me here this evening.
Why so secretive? And why a coffee shop that's not even open?
This is the best place that no prying ears or eyes can see us or hear us.
Well,
Gloria,
what is it then?
Gloria, I must say that this romance between us has been quite enchanting and unexpected for me.
As it was for me. You being my postal worker and all.
do love to deliver my package to you. Gloria,
Say it, Alfred.
you see, though I am a mere postal worker, a job which I do with pride and honor, my family, they are of higher status, and my father, the Duke, he insists that I wed another. And I do not know how to tell him no. My heart is with you. I only
Then
want to...
tell him no. Tell him no, then, if you really love me.
Of course, I really love you.
I didn't know you were a duke. That's very cool.
Can you guess what kind of a background Gloria came from? What is her family in? What trade?
Cosmetics.
Cosmetics.
You know, I was thinking of coming up with a new princess line of makeup. You know what the royal colors would be.
Gloria, I'm conflicted. I'm torn between my family and my love for you, and I do not know what to do. I feel weak in my moment of vulnerability.
I don't like weakness, Alfred. You've got to be a man. You've got to be strong.
Yes, I must stand up to him.
Exactly.
I must tell him, Father, I'm in love with Gloria, and I will not marry another woman. No matter the consequence.
Exactly.
Yes.
Would you like me to come with you and help you?
Would you do it for me?
But I hope this isn't going to be indicative of the rest of our relationship. I think you need to do it.
You're right, my love. Well, let us be off then.
Next time I get coffee.
Darling,
Yes, Elizabeth.
do sit down for a minute. I have something that may be a little bit upsetting to you, so I'm just going to need you to listen.
Nothing could upset me today, darling. Here we are in the manor house of our dreams, looking out upon the gardens and looking up upon those we love. What could be sour on such a fruitful day as today?
Well, darling, that's just the point. You see, you know that lovely portrait of your sainted mother, Agatha.
Ah, yes, the Grand Duchess Agatha.
Yes, the 10-foot by 12-foot portrait.
I do apologize, it's so small.
Yes. Well, you see, just the other day, today actually, I was dusting around that portrait, and I set it down and put it in the fireplace to rest for a minute. But you see, what I didn't notice was that there was actually a fire. So I rushed outside to get a hose where I came back in and quickly tried to put that fire out, you see. And then as I watched it burn up, I had to sit down for a minute where I had a quick drink of tea. And then, darling, well, you see,
Darling, are you telling me you burned Mother?
it was quite by accident. Really.
Darling, even though your forgetfulness has once again resulted in a large-sized portrait of Mother being destroyed, I can't for a moment be angry today. Do you see, my darling, today is a marvelous day. As you know, I have had some trepidation about our young boy, Alfred. I feel he's not stepping into his aristocratic footing as I had always hoped he would. Now, I realize the aristocracy is a dying breed to some. Here we are in 1957, and barely are there balls anymore. But I have balls, darling. I have large, grand scale balls. And I intend for the aristocracy to continue on, and therefore I have found a woman for Alfred to marry.
Oh, that's lovely, dear. I wish he had inherited your balls. So, honestly, my love, tell me about this woman.
Ah, yes. She is the daughter of an Ethiopian princess who has been adopted at birth through a strange series of circumstances that are far too unimportant to recount.
Well, that's lovely. She's of royal blood.
Yes, and I discovered her and I made her acquaintance with our family, and she is interested in meeting Alfred. And I tell you, once the two of them are together, I guarantee you that she shall love him and he shall love her, and our royal line shall be perpetuated.
My friends, there's one little hiccup in this plan. And our dear lady here was remembering that. Can you guess what that hiccup was? What's that? Chairs.
Airs.
Hairs. Hairbrushes.
Darling, is there something on your mind?
Well, yes. You see, I do love to give our guests hairbrushes.
Oh, how about it?
And if she is to meet our lovely family, this is embarrassing for me. I have no hairbrushes in the house. How will that make me look?
But darling, no need to worry. Ever since I was a boy, I've saved all of Mother's hairbrushes.
Darling, I hate to tell you this, but you're bald, and there is no reason why we have hairbrushes in the house except for me, and I don't have any left, and you know how much I love your sainted
Darling.
mother.
Darling,
Yes?
don't worry, come. You and I shall go right down to town right now, and we shall buy a hairbrush that you can give to the beautiful princess when you meet her.
Oh, you're so good ideas. I love you so much.
Stephanie, come, my dear, don't cry. As a noble princess of the Ethiopian line of many adoptions, as your mother also adopted, indeed, I'm here to tell you we must marry you off. We must. Sit down, sit down.
I never thought I was the most eligible person to be married, but if you think so, Mother, I would love it.
I found you the perfect suitor, and it will happen.
Okay, what do I need to do?
You need to be more Ethiopian.
It doesn't sound very politically correct, Mother.
It is not at all. In fact, at this day and age in 1957, all those years from the dreaded war that feels like just yesterday, I feel somewhat sacrilegious having you do this.
Yes.
But being yourself won't do.
Well, what's wrong with me?
What's wrong with me? My dear friends, can you guess what she felt was wrong with her? She felt everything was wrong with her.
Everything is wrong with you.
Do you see my hair?
Yes.
My arms?
Yes.
My everything, my personality, my taste in men, my taste in cats, my taste in everything. It's just wrong. Oh.
Well, the main thing that is wrong with you is that you're not Ethiopian. And this is a very big thing, so we're going to have to hide it in the best way possible without making a mockery of it all. Do you understand?
No.
We'll have to study. Study, my dear. Study culture.
Okay.
We need to study where we've come from, even though we've all been adopted. I don't think there's one Ethiopian among us.
Oh, you know, great-grandfather was Ethiopian.
Oh, thank goodness for that! You have saved the day. Look at that. You're not a total loss. We will refer to great-great-great-great-grandpa every time. Now, my dear, let's go out into the garden and get you ready for the meeting.
Thank you, Mama.
Eugenia.
Oh, I just had the most lovely time in London. You know, they're playing all the greatest jazz there. It's so wonderful that we don't have to be like Alfred and be proper and continue the family line. Oh, I just may move to Canada.
Well, Eugenia, you may wish to move to Canada and live a life there without responsibilities of the royal family. Let me tell you, exciting news, Eugenia.
Oh, I love exciting news.
Well,
Pray tell.
you know I have that cottage behind mine that's empty, and I've leased it to a family from Ethiopia.
Whoa.
Yes.
Ethiopia, you know, I went there in the early 50s.
I know you did.
It
And
was
you came
so
back.
exotic. I loved it.
Yes, I know. You came back with that jewelry that extended your neck. It's so lovely, though. I do like it.
Thank you, darling.
You know, a package arrived, and I do believe it was for them, but I opened it, you see. It was a package with a book inside. I rewrapped it and put it on their stoop. But I had to look at it. It was the history of Ethiopian food culture and the demise of the Western civilization.
Boring.
Well, I just flipped through it and read it entirely in one sitting. Quite
You're so
fascinating.
studious. Oh, my darling, please. What did it have to say?
Well, it said something about their disdain for Western culture. Well, they don't drink tea. So, I'm quite worried about this Ethiopian family moving in and not drinking tea.
Well,
That is my greatest concern here.
hopefully it will be liquor, don't you think?
Oh dear, Eugenia, you are such a troublemaker. Such
I
a
like
rebel.
causing trouble.
Well, I don't want St. Mary Mead to have any more trouble.
Well, it's so quaint here. It's almost quaint as a duck.
Oh, Eugenia, my ducks are not quaint. You know, I feather them so that they have exotic hairstyles.
Ah, Alfred, my boy, do sit here. I say the gardens are looking beautiful today. Wouldn't you agree, my son?
Yes, Father, they're quite lovely as usual.
Alfred, I have excellent news to share with you.
I'm excited to hear this.
Yes, well, you know, I have looked for some time for the day the sun would break through the clouds of your apprehension of stepping into the royal shoes that have been made for you from the time you were a child. And now I know exactly what you need in order to find the manly courage and become the duke you were born to be upon my demise. And that, of course, is a woman. Cheers. Yes, right. So, I have found a woman that you are to marry.
Father, there's something that I must share with you as well.
Today is a day for sharing, then, is it not? Go on.
Father, times are changing. After the war, England, everyone seems to want to have a new start in life, a new outlook on things.
If there's one thing the aristocracy frowns on, it's new. Listen to me, boy. It's very important to me that the old traditions be preserved. You remember your beloved grandmama, don't you?
Of course I do.
The woman of whom we used to have several pictures in our
Yes, Mama keeps burning them, discarding them for no reason.
She's an absent-minded woman, but that's not important. What is important is that my mother was the most upstanding woman that I had ever known. And when my two brothers were killed in the war, I barely was able to regroup from that loss. You don't know, and you can't ever know what it means to lose a brother, Alfred. And for your grandmother to lose two children. But she was a tower of strength. And if not for her strength, seeing me through, why, I don't know what I might have turned to. And on her deathbed, she put her hand in mine, and she said, "Son, you must preserve the past, for it is the past in which we find our strength." And I promised her, as she exhaled her final breath, that I would preserve the past And the two of us knew what we meant. We meant through you.
My dear friends, Alfred knew about a dirty little stain in their family past about Grandmama. Can you guess what that was?
She was an astronomer.
An affair. You're correct.
Father, if I may be so bold as to remark that Grandmama had an affair that is quite a stretch.
You take that back.
I will not, Father.
What are you saying? How dare you sit in her house and talk to me about something as scurrilous as that?
I will no longer be in your shadow of this family anymore. I do not wear my name with pride anymore, Father. I've always been told what to do ever since I was a young child. I will not do it anymore. I'm in love with another woman. I will not go through with this marriage that you have proposed to me. I'm my own man.
You are not a man at all. And if I hear you cast one more aspersion about my mother, I guarantee you there shall be hell to pay!
I guarantee you there shall be hell to pay. My dears, shortly after those words were spoken, someone in our story was found to be dead. But who do you think it was? My friends, can you guess who was murdered? Eugenia? Eugenia.
The Duke. Eugenia.
My friends, I agree, I was devastated. And that poor woman's body was discovered like this.